pieces that came in this offseason with me. And so when I really see what I can do here.
The drama surrounding Sophie Cunningham and Jacy Sheldon has turned into one of the most talked about sagas in the WNBA this season. And it's not because of highlight dunks or buzzer beaters. It's because Cunningham, with her mix of toughness, wit, and unapologetic swagger, has planted her flag as the Indiana Fever's enforcer. And she did it at Sheldon's expense. This storyline, which began in a heated clash filled with hard fouls and escalated with Cunningham's unforgettable autograph moment, has become a defining narrative of the Fever's season and a symbol of how much Caitlin Clark means to the league. It all started in the same chaotic matchup where Marina Mabrey delivered a body check to Clark that looked more like an NFL audition than a basketball play. But even before Mabrey's shove sent shockwaves through Fever Nation, Sheldon had already been stirring the pot with her own cheap shots, bumping and swiping at Clark in ways that went just far enough to avoid an ejection, but plenty far enough to ignite outrage from fans. For Fever supporters, it felt like death by 1,000 cuts. Every time Clark drove the lane, there was another hand in her face, another forearm on her back, another accidental bump to the body. The message was clear. The rest of the league was testing just how much Clark could endure. And for Cunningham, that didn't fly. Sophie didn't file those moments away in some mental complaint box. She logged them on her to-do list. Later in the game, she delivered her answer with precision.
I'm on year 7, and I did not believe people when they're like, hey, when you get old, you're going to know.
When Sheldon went up for a layup, Sophie made sure she came back down with a reminder, a strong, intentional bear hug that sent Sheldon to the floor. It wasn't dirty, it wasn't reckless, but it was a message broadcast loud and clear. Targeting Caitlin Clark comes with consequences. Cunningham wasn't going to stand by while her superstar teammate became a punching bag. She would set the tone herself. And that moment alone would have been enough to get fans buzzing. But Sophie didn't stop there. She carried the energy into the stands, into the community, and finally into a moment that will be replayed in Fever lore for years to come. Fast forward to a Fever fan event. Cunningham is working the room like a natural, smiling, signing, chatting it up with supporters who had stood in line just to get a few seconds of her time. Then a fan slides a Jacy Sheldon rookie card across the table and asks her to sign it. Sophie doesn't just give her name. She doesn't just scrawl her number. Instead,
So excited. I think it's refreshing. I've been in Phoenix.
She takes the pen and writes across the card, "Property of Sophie Cunningham." It was equal parts hilarious, savage, and symbolic. Not just a jab at Sheldon, but a declaration that the Fever now had someone willing to publicly, unapologetically, and humorously claim ownership of these rivalries. Lexi Hull, sitting next to her, couldn't hold back laughter. Fans erupted. The clip went viral in minutes. And just like that, Sophie Cunningham became the most talked about enforcer in the WNBA. That one autograph crystallized the storyline of the entire season. It wasn't just about Sheldon. It was about all the players who had gone after Clark Kennedy Carter with her blindsides. Dejonai Carrington with her hip checks, Mabrey with her after-whistle shove, and Sheldon with her relentless bumping. Over and over again, Clark had been left exposed, with referees swallowing their whistles and teammates often hesitant to step into the fire. Sophie changed that
Gym. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of
equation. With one bold pen stroke, she announced to the league that Clark wasn't alone anymore, that Indiana had muscle, and that if refs weren't going to enforce the rules, Cunningham would. But what separates Sophie from being just another enforcer is that she's not some bench warmer. Collecting fouls as her only contribution, she's producing. Since the All-Star break, she's been stepping into threes with confidence, putting up double-digit scoring nights and showing that she's more than just Clark's protector. She's a vital offensive piece for a Fever team clawing its way toward respectability. Against Phoenix, she poured in 18 points when the rest of her teammates struggled. That combination of toughness and efficiency makes her unique. She's not just the player who will knock you down. She's the one who will turn around and bury a three-pointer in your face on the next possession, and fans have embraced it. Fever Nation, which has
Where I'm at now. It was good to see people. It was fun to play.
Rallied around Clark like a protective army, now has a second hero in Sophie. The nickname Black Belt Barbie has stuck, a nod to her martial arts background and her unapologetic edge. Social media is flooded with memes of the property of Sophie Cunningham autograph. Some fans have even started calling for t-shirts and merch. It's the kind of organic moment that turns players into icons. And the timing couldn't be better for the Fever, who need every bit of personality, toughness, and identity they can build as they continue to fight for wins in a league that has suddenly put a target on their back. Meanwhile, Sheldon's reputation has taken a sharp downturn. Drafted 5th overall in 2024 by the Dallas Wings, her career has already been turbulent, bouncing from team to team. And instead of being known for breakout scoring nights or elite defense, she's now infamous for her cheap shots on Clark.
It's how aggressive we are at the point. It's from the jump of the game, and honestly, going kind of back to your...
From the flagrant foul on June 17th to the knee to Clark's groin in July, Sheldon has quickly become one of the most disliked players among Fever and Hawkeye fans alike. And thanks to Sophie's jab, her legacy now includes being the player owned by Cunningham. It's not exactly the kind of branding a young player wants. But in the world of sports, these narratives stick, and Sheldon's reputation as Clark's villain is one that will follow her for a long time. The deeper meaning of Sophie's role in all this is that she's filling a void the WNBA desperately needed to address. In every other professional league, megastars are protected. Gretzky had enforcers in hockey. Jordan had teammates willing to rack up technicals for him. Kobe had bodies around him willing to take the hits. Steph Curry has Draymond Green doing the dirty work. But in the
I just love her. I just think the defensive intensity that she brings.
WNBA, Clark was left to fend for herself, and that made her an open target. Sophie Cunningham changed that dynamic, and in doing so, she set a precedent. You can go after Clark, but you better be ready for the consequences. Even Caitlin herself recognized the importance of it. Behind the scenes, when Sophie stepped up and delivered that hard foul to Sheldon, Clark reportedly told her, finally someone else. That's the kind of relief only a superstar under siege can understand. For Clark, who has carried the weight of the league on her shoulders at just 22 years old, having someone like Sophie by her side is invaluable. It's not just about basketball. It's about mental security. It's about knowing that every shove won't go unanswered. About being able to focus on the game instead of constantly bracing for the next cheap shot. Of course, this story is far from over. The next time the Fever face Sheldon and her new squad, all eyes will be on the matchup. Will Sheldon try to make a statement? Will Sophie respond again? Will the referees finally step in and enforce the rules consistently? Fans will be watching every possession, every drive.
I just think the defensive intensity that she brings is like unmatched. Like
every bump, waiting for the next chapter. Because make no mistake, this rivalry is no longer about points and stats. It's about pride, protection, and identity. And Cunningham has ensured that the Fever now have all three. What Sophie Cunningham did to Sheldon wasn't just hilarious. It was calculated, it was bold, and it was exactly what the WNBA needed. She didn't just clap back at an opponent. She built a brand, cemented her role as Indiana's enforcer, and gave Fever fans a rallying cry. In one season, she's gone from role player to one of the most beloved figures in the league, second only to Clark herself. And she did it with grit, humor, and performance to back it up. That's why the property of Sophie Cunningham autograph will go down as more than a viral clip. It will be remembered as the moment the Fever drew a line in the sand. So now, the question shifts back to the fans. Was this Sophie's perfect mic drop moment, or did she just pour gasoline on the fire? Do you think her enforcer role makes the Fever stronger, or does it risk escalating tensions even further? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're here for this kind of drama, the storylines, the rivalries, and the rise of a new era in women's basketball, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on what comes next. If Sophie Cunningham has anything to say about it, the drama has only just begun.